Hi, my name is Jeff. I used to suffer with anxiety, but I don't anymore because of this guy here.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Carter of Mark Carter Hypnotherapy. Jeff, thank you very much for that wonderful intro. As he rightly says, yes, he used to struggle with anxiety. He became a client of mine, and there is no more anxiety. So, Jeff, first off, thank you very much for doing this. I say this on every video. What you are about to do is probably one of the most important things, not just for yourself, but for everybody else who may see this video, because one sentence from you may resonate with somebody and could change their lives for the better, just like yours was. So thank you again. Um, so Jeff used to struggle with anxiety, and we worked together a little while back. So Jeff, I suppose without further ado, why don't you tell us what was wrong?
My everyday life, I was, yeah, I would say I was battling, but I was fighting a losing battle with anxiety. I was putting so much emphasis on it, and it was something that built up over time with me. I didn't really help myself where I was becoming a bit more enclosed. I didn't want to be a burden on anyone, so I didn't really open up or speak to people, and it sort of built up over time. And yeah, just everyday sort of pressures in life. Yeah, I lost a very close relative, and yeah, things just kind of was sort of building up from there. And then I kind of reached a stage where I was like really concerning myself because I was becoming more and more enclosed, and I was feeling like I'm just going to lose everything that I worked for here. So that was when I started sort of looking out and reaching out, trying to like improve from where I was basically.
Hmm. And you said that you sort of tried reaching out. When you say that, do you mean you went online? What did you do?
Yeah, so I opened up a little bit to some like close family members, some like close trustworthy friends, and that instantly made me feel better. But I knew or I felt that I needed uh, a little bit of expertise in helping me sort of pick up the tools and move myself in the right direction.
Wonderful. So I presume, did a bit of a search. And what was the platform that you found me on?
It was on Google, and so I pretty much sort of just started like just a random general sort of search, and yeah, I come across yourself. I come across like a few different platforms, but I come across yourself. I started reading into it, and it just yeah, it just sort of like I was interested straight away. I remember it was on a Saturday, and it was quite straightforward and simple. I made contact with you, and things moved very quickly from there. I remember like within an hour or so, you had a free bit of time, so we had a video chat, and it very sort of quickly went from there. I felt very comfortable at ease, and yeah, just decided for us to progress together from there. Really.
Outstanding. And rapport is very important. It works both ways because, it could be a case of, although I'm a very nice guy, self-admitted that I'm a very nice guy, I may not just not be the right person for you. But thankfully, in this case, I obviously was. So we've had this call that you talked about, this video call, this strategy call, it's called, and it's done via Zoom as we are on here now. And we just spoke a little bit about, well, you spoke really about what you thought was going on with you. And then you decided, yes, you wanted to engage my services and work with me. So when we met, what do you recall of the session?
I I recall like feeling at ease with yourself, Mark, um, embracing the the experience where, yeah, I let my guard down, and yeah, I felt comfortable. I felt the trust. Uh, so then we spoke openly, like you was like asking me questions, getting like an insight. I felt like you was giving me advice, guidance. Um, yeah, I don't remember everything like vividly, but I remember it being a nice, relaxed, enjoyable experience.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, I went into deep thought on many occasions. Um, yeah, I just found it a pleasant experience. And I remember once the session was complete, I did feel a lot more at ease with myself and the world, really.
Yeah. And it's funny because you mentioned talking and not remember very much, but a lot was spoken about. And the funny thing is, ladies and gents, 90% of what was said by Jeff himself, and he literally took himself into trance several times, came in and out of hypnotic trance. Um, and it's quite fascinating to watch because I'm looking for various little physical cues that occur. And you don't have to be in hypnosis with your eyes open, by the way. Hypnosis happens while you're what you think is quite a lucid state. But yes, so as you say, a very relaxing, easygoing chat of which you literally solved. You came to many little epiphany moments in in talking about yourself and what you thought was going on, because most of what you talked about was actually wrong until something said, "This is what it's about," and that's what it's about. And then from there, you were able to actually solve your problem. And that's how it works. I mean, there are various ways in which one can be put into hypnosis, as we did with you, and what's called conversational hypnosis, where you literally talk yourself into hypnosis without realizing it. And then there's the traditional, which I do as well, which is and 3, 2, 1, and sleep, and all the way down, drifting, draining deeper and deeper into that wonderful state of hypnosis. So feeling better is what you said. Came out of the session feeling quite light and happy and whatever else. What else can you tell us about the aftermath of that over the next few days or weeks?
I felt like there was more clarity within myself. There was less less of a sort of like a brain fog, less of a haziness. Uh, like say, like anxieties were notably manageable. Anxious thoughts, feelings. I felt like I was in control of. Yeah, and yeah, it just yeah, I felt like I had more freedom.
And it's great that you say that your anxiety was manageable and you didn't say that manage the anxiety was gone. Because, ladies and gents, at the end of the day, even after you have seen a therapist, life is life and it continues to throw hammers and spanners at you, as I like to say. The difference is that once you've had something like what Jeff's had, you'll find, as I like to say to everybody, you'll find that when those things start coming at you, you're going to be an absolute diva. You're going to go, bring it on. I've got this. I can manage you. I can deal with you. Because let's face it, and let's be truthful about this, you're never truly going to get rid of anxiety. And in fact, anxiety is actually good for you. You need some anxiety in your life because it pushes you over the edge and makes you achieve things that you didn't believe before that you could achieve. So I love the fact that you mentioned that it's manageable now because you've got control. You manage it. It doesn't manage you, which is wonderful. Anything else, Jeff? Anything else that you want to bring up at all?
Um, that it's like it's really worked for me, and yeah, I remember like where I previously was, and I had I had all the desire in the world to get myself better. I was concerned that if I carried on and carried on going down in the wrong direction, I would lose my capabilities, or I would be less able to get myself up and improve. And I was just very thankful that I found you, Mark, to just help me very quickly move in the right direction. And it was very quick as well. The
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, it is quite a quick process. Some people takes a little bit longer, but there's also, I mean, remember when we had that session, I said to you, I'd like you to go to sleep for about 20 minutes.
yeah,
So I asked Jeff to, once I was leaving, the fact remains is that after the session, the true um, fixing, shall we say, the therapy itself starts once I walk out the door and I leave you behind, because that's when what's called the processing period starts. And I asked Jeff to go to bed, just have a lie down. If you could sleep, sleep, but only for 20 minutes. And that is when the subconscious mind starts the big change, and it starts unlocking stuff, putting stuff in, taking stuff out. And this process period can last for weeks or even months. And you may find that as you're going about your normal business, suddenly you start giggling to yourself and you have no idea why. Or you may get a moment of feeling quite melancholy. And again, you have no idea why. And all that is this talking to you saying, I'm about to change something here. So the whole idea, that processing period is not something to be frightened of or worried about. It's something to embrace and really, really enjoy. Jeff, thank you so much for all of that.
I
Um,
And yeah, thank you for everyone listening. And I hope that, yeah, you have a successful journey.
that's wonderful. That's great. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can be found on YouTube. I always have to forget this. YouTube, Instagram, Google, Facebook, and my website, which is www.markcarterhypnotherapy.com. Easily reachable. Happy to talk to you. I travel to you because your home is where the atmosphere can be. So there's no need for you to come to me. I will come to you. If it's very long distance, abroad, for example, I'll do it on Zoom, just like we are now, because 6 feet is no different to 6,000 miles. It's all the same thing. So I suppose, ladies and gentlemen, it just remains for me to say, Jeff, one last thank you very much for doing this. And this is Mark Carter of Mark Carter Hypnotherapy, wishing you the very best mental, emotional, and physical health.